Welcome to Super Simple Security Principles, where you learn how to think, not just what to do. I'm Nick Jackson, here to learn along with you from my good buddy and master guardian, Makani Mason. Today, this is episode 84, Conquer Your Email Woes. This is something I'm super pumped about because I watch my master guardian, Makani, use his email and I get bugged because my email isn't a source of help. It is a source of woe. I get more emails that I don't want. I very rarely use it for a valid communication, other than when I have to, which drives me nuts. So for me, this is a really big topic because I've seen you use email and you use it almost as a layer of security. And so for me, I'm super pumped about this because, look, I want to keep some of these guys from getting my info. And you've kind of figured some cool secrets out. So, dude, where do we begin, man? Let's go.
Yeah. Well, and this is going to be, the beginning of a huge series of episodes. And actually, the way I want to kick it off, even before I really get into the main meat for this episode, is share a story, because this wasn't planned, but this is just one of those things where it happened, and I was like, oh, this is a very topical story. We're going to just throw this in because, so Kem, he received an email the other day from his accountant.
Okay.
And he looked at it and he's like, huh. He checked the email, checked all the things. Yeah, it's definitely from his accountant. But man, it sure looks fishy.
Yeah.
As in fishing, right?
Oh, man.
And so, he shared it with me. What do you think? Yeah, I agree. That's definitely. And he told me some of the things. So it had a file attachment that, he needed to sign or something. I can't remember now, but it wasn't shared by the usual, like they already had an established protocol for sharing files, and it was
Yeah.
not sending an attachment through email because
Yeah.
that's a terrible, terrible, insecure method to do it, and it's the source of phishing attempts. So anyway, needless to say, he did not click on it, and he reached out to his accountant, and the problem was his accountant's email had been taken over. And so then the phishing folks sent out, of course, an email to all his clients. And I mean, I don't know how many, if it went to all of them or whatever, but but it came legitimately from, I mean, obviously it wasn't actually from him, but it came from his email account, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how careful you were about looking at it, it was going to be coming from him.
Yeah.
So anyway, just a good reminder of, yep, account takeovers are happening, phishing's happening, email is broken.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah,
that's
I
my
agree.
opening story for you.
Email's broken.
Yeah, that's my overall stance on it.
Well, and that's why we're doing this series, right? Like, here's the reality. So many people experience broken email. Like, everybody does. Minus maybe you and a few others. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's certainly been my personal experience observing. It's very rare that I talk to somebody that's like, "Yep, everything's great with email. No email was."
Right.
Yeah. In fact, I don't know. I can't think of anybody. So, but a lot of this started with, if you remember, you pitched the idea of us doing an email workshop.
Yeah.
And so, that's been, I don't know, a month or two. Can't remember exactly how long I've been. I keep having ideas about it. I've made quite a bit of notes, um, pondering, and finally, what I decided was the next step was to just do a bunch of episodes with you to explore, to cover all the topics, so we're well prepared. And we can take what we learn together, what we figure out, the questions that come up for you, all this kind of stuff, and turn it into a workshop.
I love it.
So this is, I obviously, as you know, I still have a full-time day job, so I'm kind of squeezing this in when I can. So this, I feel like, will kind of be a efficient way of bringing some useful content to our folks along the way, but
Yeah.
also building sort of something that I think will be even more helpful for them. Because then, with the workshop, the idea is that it's not going to be a video. I mean, there will be videos probably in between the workshop sessions, as kind
Right.
of the homework and the teaching part. But the workshop itself, I want to get on with a group of people and help them interactively.
Yeah.
So because and everybody can benefit. We can answer questions. I'll even have people share screens, fix problems with them interactively, but do it in a group setting so they can all learn from it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
And so that's what I say, or that's what I mean when I say workshop. And that's so just to kind of recap the format that I'm thinking, envisioning. I'm happy to hear your feedback or listener feedback on this, but is I don't know exactly how many sessions, depends on how long it takes or whatever. But what I would do is probably have a homework video, so to speak, that kind of preps you for each session, right? That you'd watch on your own schedule, and then
Yeah.
you come to the session and bring questions about the video, about your email stuff in general. We'll have some very open-ended options as well, but I figure we want to work in a little bit of teaching along the way as well, that's
Yeah.
offline on their own schedule. And so then the time we actually have together, we can really maximize interactively, not
Yeah.
because the watching passively or me even just lecturing, that's really can be done much more efficiently just offline, so to speak.
Yeah.
So again, I don't know exactly how many. We'll see. Obviously, we want to make it as efficient and short as possible, get people going quickly. So that's the ultimate goal, is speed, but also solving everything. And so we
Yeah.
may break it down. So there might be different sessions on different topics. And so, for example, my sister I know has like 4 different Google accounts, Gmail accounts, because she's tried over the years switching. I think it might be only 3, but anyway, where she's kind of tried to fix her spam and other issues by, okay, we'll start a brand new one, right? And
Right.
and now she's just really, I know when I told her about this idea, she's like, yes, I will be your first one to sign up and come join it. I've been begging you to kind of help me with this for years. Because
Right.
it's a huge source of frustration. But people who only have one, maybe they skip that session. They're like, I only have one account, no big deal. So try to optimize it from that perspective too.
Yeah.
Um, so my question for you though, Nick, and I don't know, I mean, you're the one who pitched obviously email as our first workshop.
Yeah.
So, and what, I don't know, what are your reasons? Expound for our listeners what your reasons are for wanting it.
Look, here's the reality. I would love to have email be what I feel like it was intended for. And that was a way of secure communication. You know, I would love to find a way to safeguard that a little bit. I know there's some flaws with the system itself, and how people can contact me, etc. I know that, but what I'm looking for is something that's not getting thousands of messages a day, but the messages I do get are reliable, that they're what I'm wanting to get, and they're communications that are pertinent, right? And so I don't use email to reach out to a buddy and say, hey, what's up, dude? I've got plenty of other communication needs for that. But like if all of a sudden I decide to sell a property and I'm working with my real estate agent and I need to do some DocuSigns or things like that, I want to be able to trust the emails that I'm getting in. Like, I want to be able to have more control over my email box. Is what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, that makes sense. Well, and let me address one thing you said in there.
yeah.
Because when it was first built, it was not designed as secure communications.
Ah,
Because, I mean, it is so old. It is basically the oldest form of mass communication we have on the internet. And so security was the last thing on their mind, honestly.
yeah.
It didn't even enter the equation at all. I mean, when I was in college, it used to be so easy. Things have gotten better. They've kind of bolted on some security features to it. But I'm sure I've probably told you this story, but I used to email my friends as Santa because it was trivial to spoof any email address you wanted back then.
Ah,
And so, because I just wasn't the goal, they were just trying to improve communication, right? Like
yeah.
now we
Gotcha.
have so many communication methods that, right, we want to do security stuff, right? We want to do it
Right.
securely, but the the reason it's broken, I don't have anybody necessarily at fault, just that it's old. It was built before that, and everybody uses it,
Mm-hmm.
so it's hard to change. Um, but all the rest of the objectives you talked about, kind of boiled down to the way I'd say is you don't want junk in there. You don't want spam in there, right?
Exactly.
And that we
Yep.
can do. That we can do. Um, there are some email providers that try to kind of make email more secure. But until we revamp and replace the email system, which is in terms of the systems that I personally want to build, has been my dream to replace for years,
Nice.
is still it's my top one. And so I'm kind of glad to do the workshop first too, because email has been one of my most fascinating, most delved into. I've coded email clients, like a lot of stuff that I've done with email over the years, and so I really want to do that. But in the meantime, as you know, like you said, you've seen my email, and I do feel like we have the ability to minimize the amount of junk you have there.
Yeah.
I still do not recommend it. I think having the other communication tools, especially for now, for secure communications like Signal, um, is still a much better way to go. Transferring files, use different mechanisms. That's a different topic. But email, the main thing about email, like you said, you point out with your real estate, right, is it's universal. Everyone has it as one. Corporations and companies, businesses you deal with, they're going to use email, right? So
Right.
that's one of the reasons why we're starting with the email workshop too, is because it is the most universal communication method,
Nice.
right? The other one,
Yep.
of course, and we've talked about this a lot, is that it's the master key
Yeah.
to unlocking all of your other accounts because of the forgot password mechanism.
Right.
The other thing closely related to that is it's also a great method to discover all your other accounts by reviewing the emails you have. So if somebody gets in your email, not only can they unlock all your other accounts, they can go a long way towards discovering what other accounts you have that they want to unlock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So anyway, so that's why the workshop, that's why it's important is, the communication, forgot password is just such a critical piece. And I feel like that is the most foundational piece of security, um, that we want to work on to help our people.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, that's what I have for today.
Awesome. Awesome. That was a good one.
Well, you got to do takeaways now, though.
I did.
You did. That was
You
your takeaway.
expounded on them.
Okay, and then I
Remember?
rambled on. Okay, that was your takeaway. Okay, well then I gotta ramble for a second more, because my takeaway, I think, is that, and I kind of did some of it, but I guess I'll just add this, that I want to go narrower for now, even than what we've started.
Okay.
I mean, we'll get to all security in general, but for a while, I just really want to focus on email
Yeah.
and go deeper in it until, and kind of what I'm thinking is, like, I really just want to focus on this workshop and helping people until we've helped, like, I don't know, 1,000 people have this kind of same success and feel like, okay, I've mastered my email, you know, uh, and they tell us about it and are like excited, and they've got
Right.
it, and I'm really excited about this, because I mean, I'm trying to help people with the podcast, but I know, especially with our topic, online security, a lot of that comes back to actually helping people interactively.
Yeah.
And I want to do that in a way that can scale, though, too. I want to be able to help a lot of people. I want to make cake and eat it too. I want to help them interactively, but I want to help everybody. And those two things are kind of at odds in a way, right? So the workshop can hopefully help bridge both those goals to a certain degree. So
Excellent.
anyway,
I
okay,
love it.
yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
Okay,
Yes. Okay.
are you ready to take action and wondering where to start? Get my Bulletproof My Identity Starter Kit for free. The 7 most vital layers of protection everyone needs. I'll send you one step at a time and help you if you get stuck. Just go to bulletproofmyid.com and enter your name and email, and I will send you the first step. Again, that's bulletproofmyid.com.